Here, everybody wants success, but not everybody is willing to pay the price for it. You can't build strength by sitting on the sidelines. You build it by going through the fire. Today, I'm about to share with you 15 lessons you simply can't ignore if you want to level up your life. These lessons are not optional, they are mandatory. Because the truth is, here, greatness doesn't wait for anyone. You either step up or you get left behind. Let's get into it. Discipline is stronger than motivation here, because motivation is like a spark, while discipline is the fire that keeps burning long after the spark fades away. Everybody wakes up some days ready to conquer the world, full of energy and excitement, ready to hit the gym, ready to work on their business, ready to study about a hustle. But then the next day comes and the excitement isn't there. The body feels heavy. The mind feels weak. The excuses start creeping in right here. And suddenly the fire doesn't feel so strong anymore. That's the problem with motivation. It comes and it goes. It rises and it falls. It's never consistent. You cannot build a strong body, a strong career here, or a strong life on something that only shows up when it feels like it. That's why discipline is the real weapon. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired. Discipline doesn't care if you're not in the mood. Okay, here, discipline doesn't care if it's raining, if you're sore, if you're broke, if you're stressed. Discipline shows up anyway. Discipline says, I said I was going to do this, so I'm going to do it right here no matter what. That's the difference between people who dream and people who achieve. When you look at champions, whether it's athletes, entrepreneurs, or leaders, right here, the thing that separates them is never motivation, it's discipline. Motivation might get you started, but discipline keeps you going when the hype is gone. Think about the days you don't feel like training, right here. The mornings when you want to hit snooze, the nights when you just want to relax instead of putting in extra work. Motivation won't carry you through those moments, but discipline will. Right here, discipline is the voice in your head that says, you don't negotiate with your goals. When Ronnie Coleman was lifting weights, pushing past limits, screaming through pain, here, it wasn't motivation alone that kept him going. It was discipline. 8 Mr. Olympia titles don't come from being motivated once in a while. They come from showing up day after day, year after year. Right here, whether the energy was there or not. Discipline is built through repetition, through making the decision over and over again to do what needs to be done. It's not glamorous, it's not always exciting, but it's powerful. Here, you don't need to feel like doing something to do it. You just need to commit. And that commitment grows stronger every time you keep a promise to yourself. Every time you push through when you don't feel like it, right here, you're building the muscle of discipline, and the stronger that muscle gets, the less you have to rely on motivation. Because motivation is emotional, but discipline is a decision. Motivation can be affected by your mood, by your environment, by your circumstances, but discipline cuts through all of that. Discipline is steady, discipline is consistent, discipline is reliable. Look at it like this. If you only train when you're motivated, here, you'll train maybe half the time. If you only work when you're motivated, you'll work inconsistently, you'll fall behind, you'll stop when things get tough. But if you train with discipline, right here, if you work with discipline, if you live with discipline, there is no off switch. You're there on the good days, you're there on the bad days, you're there when the world is cheering, right here, and you're there when nobody notices. That's how you win, that's how you separate yourself. Because everybody can show up when they feel like it, but very few show up when they don't. That's why discipline is rare. And that's why it creates greatness. Discipline also gives you freedom. Most people think discipline is about restriction, about taking things away, about making life harder. But in reality, right here, discipline gives you the power to control your life. When you are disciplined with your time, you free yourself from wasting it. When you are disciplined with your money, you free yourself from stress and scarcity. Hey, when you are disciplined with your health, you free yourself from sickness and weakness. Discipline may feel hard in the moment, but it makes life easier in the long run. Motivation only makes the moment exciting, right here, but discipline makes the future secure. Every successful person has had days where they wanted to quit, days where they felt drained, days where motivation was nowhere to be found. But what kept them in the game was discipline, right here. Michael Jordan didn't become the greatest by practicing only when he was motivated. Steve Jobs didn't build Apple by working only when he was excited. Around here, Ronnie Coleman didn't build his legendary physique by lifting weights only on days he felt good. They built their success because they trained their discipline like a muscle, making it stronger every day, right here. And here's the true discipline. Isn't something you're born with. It's something you develop. It's like training in the gym. You don't start with a 500-pound squat. You start small and build up. The same way, right here, you don't start with perfect discipline. You start by keeping small promises to yourself. Wake up when you said you would. Finish the workout you planned. Stick to the diet you committed to. Complete the work you scheduled. Here, every little action builds trust in yourself, and that trust is the foundation of discipline. Over time, discipline becomes a part of who you are, not just something you do. There will always be distractions. Right here, there will always be temptations. There will always be reasons to stop, reasons to delay, reasons to make excuses. Motivation will never be strong enough to fight all of those battles, but discipline will. Right here, discipline doesn't argue, discipline doesn't debate, discipline doesn't bargain, it just acts. And that's why people who master discipline build lives that others only dream about. Right here, because while others are waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel inspired, waiting for the right moment, the discipline are already moving, already building, already growing. That's why discipline is stronger than motivation. Motivation may light the path, but discipline walks it. Motivation may give you a taste of what's possible, but discipline makes it reality. Motivation is temporary, but discipline is permanent. Motivation is a boost. Like a discipline right here, but discipline is a lifestyle. If you want success that lasts, if you want strength that endures, if you want results that nobody can take from you, discipline is the only way. Pain is a teacher, not an enemy. Right here, and the sooner you understand that, the sooner you'll stop running from it and start learning from it. Most people fear pain, they avoid it. They treat it like something to escape right here. But in reality, pain is the signal that growth is happening, that change is happening, that you are stepping outside of your comfort zone and into the place where transformation lies. And right here, think about every great achievement in history, every athlete, every warrior, every entrepreneur, every leader. They all walked through pain. They didn't just face it once, they faced it daily, right here. And instead of treating it as punishment, they treated it as feedback. Pain is the body's way of saying you're pushing your limits. Pain is the mind's way of saying you're breaking through barriers. Here, pain is life's way of saying this is where the lesson is. Without pain, there is no strength. Without pain, there is no wisdom. Without pain, there is no breakthrough. When you hit the gym and your muscles burn, and that burn is pain, and that pain is what signals growth. When you study for hours and your brain feels exhausted, that's pain, and that pain is what stretches your capacity to learn. When you go through heartbreak, right here, disappointment or failure, the emotional pain feels unbearable, but that pain is what matures you, what teaches you resilience, what gives you perspective you couldn't have had without it. Right here, if everything in life was easy and painless, you would stay the same forever. Pain is the force that carves you into something greater. You may hate it in the moment. Right here, but when you look back, you will realize it shaped you more than comfort ever could. Most people try to numb their pain instead of learning from it. They distract themselves with entertainment. They avoid challenges. Right here, they hide behind excuses. But pain never disappears just because you ignore it. It waits for you, it grows stronger, and eventually comes back until you finally face it. The people who rise in life are not the ones who run from pain, but the ones who embrace it, who sit with it, who ask, what is this pain teaching me right now? Every injury, every rejection, right here, every failure has a message inside it. Sometimes pain is teaching you patience. Sometimes it's teaching you humility. Sometimes it's teaching you discipline. Sometimes it's teaching you that you are stronger than you think. But there is always a lesson, and those lessons are what build your character. Pain also strips away the unnecessary. When you're in pain, right here, you discover what really matters. You realize how much energy you wasted on things that don't count, on people who don't stay, on habits that don't serve you. Pain focuses you, it sharpens you, it forces you to confront the truth about who you are, the truth about what you're capable of, the truth about what you really want. Without pain, you would keep lying to yourself, telling yourself you're fine. Here, you're strong, you're okay, when in reality, you're not moving forward. Pain wakes you up and says, you can't keep living like this. It's time to grow. Think about the strongest bodies in the world, right here, the ones from years of training. Every rep that created those muscles came with pain. Every lift came with strain. Every step on the treadmill came with discomfort, right here. But the body never grew in comfort. It grew in the pain zone. The same applies to the mind, the spirit. Mental toughness comes from enduring stress. Emotional strength comes from surviving heartbreak. Here, spiritual depth comes from walking through darkness. Pain is the universal gym where every part of you gets stronger if you don't quit. Right here, there's a reason why the people with the greatest wisdom are not the ones who had the easiest lives, but the ones who suffered the most and kept going. They learned from pain instead of letting it destroy them. Right here, pain humbled them, shaped them, and taught them lessons that can't be learned from a book or a speech. That's why when you hear a champion speak, you feel the weight of their words. It's not theory, right here. It's not surface level motivation. It's pain turned into power. Ronnie Coleman himself went through surgeries, injuries, setbacks, but he never let pain stop him. He understood that the pain was part of the price. Right here, part of the process, part of the teaching that will mold him into one of the greatest to ever step on stage. Pain also shows you who you really are. When everything is easy, you can pretend to be strong right here. But when life gets hard, when pain knocks on your door, that's when your true character comes out. Do you break? Do you quit? Do you make excuses? Or do you rise? Do you learn? Do you push forward? Pain reveals the truth right here, and the truth is necessary for growth. You can't become who you're meant to be by hiding from reality. Pain forces you to face reality head on. No filter, no excuses. And when you face it, you grow. Another thing about pain, it makes victory sweeter. If success came without struggle, without tears, without sleepless nights, without blood and sweat, it would mean nothing. Right here, the very reason victory feels so good is because you remember what it took to get there, the pain you had to overcome, the obstacles you had to endure. That contrast is what makes it valuable. Pain gives meaning to success. Right here, without pain, there's no glory, there is no story, there is inspiration. The stories that move us, the speeches that light us up, the heroes we admire, all of them have pain at the center. That's why we respect them right here, because they didn't just win, they suffered for it, they earned it, they endured when others gave up. Pain also teaches empathy. When you've been through pain yourself, you understand others in a deeper way. Here, you can connect with their struggles, you can speak to their wounds, you can lift them up because you've been where they are. Pain teaches you compassion, it teaches you to be human. Without pain, you'd be arrogant, careless, disconnected. Pain softens the edges while also hardening the core. It makes you tough and kind at the same time, and that combination is what makes a leader worth following. Every time you feel pain, right here, you have two choices. Let it break you or let it build you. Most people let it break them. They collapse under the weight, they give up, they blame the world. But the few who let pain build them, they rise above. Right here, they become unshakable. They turn into the people others look up to. That's why pain is not your enemy. It is your ally. It is the silent coach, the harsh mentor, the relentless trainer that never leaves your side. Right here, it may not be gentle, it may not be kind, but it always has your growth in mind. If you've ever wondered why life puts you through struggles, why it seems like the road is always harder for you, right here, the answer is because pain is preparing you for something greater. Every scar, every tear, every heartbreak is a lesson. And while you may not see it now, hey, right here, one day you will look back and realize pain was your greatest teacher all along because it gave you strength, wisdom, resilience, and perspective that nothing else could. Excuses kill dreams faster than failure. Right here, and that's the truth most people don't want to face. Failure has value because when you fail, you learn, you adjust, you discover what doesn't work, and you build resilience from the experience. Excuses, on the other hand, right here, teach you nothing, build nothing, move you nowhere. Excuses are comfortable lies you tell yourself to avoid the discomfort of discipline, of effort, of sacrifice. And the dangerous part is they sound convincing in the moment. Here, I know, I'm too tired, I don't have time, I have money, I'm not ready, I'll start tomorrow. These are the words that bury more dreams than rejection, pain, or failure ever could. Failure at least proves you tried. Excuses prove you never even started. People love to believe that circumstances are the reason they can't move forward, but the truth is circumstances are rarely the barrier. It's excuses disguised as circumstances. Right here, somebody else in worse conditions has already done what you're telling yourself you can't do. Somebody with less time, less money, less support. Here, less talent has already succeeded while you're still listing reasons why you can't. Excuses protect your comfort zone, and your comfort zone is where dreams go to die. You think you're safe there, here, but what's really happening is you're slowly watching opportunities pass you by while convincing yourself you'll catch the next one. But there is no next one. The chance you have now is the only one guaranteed. Here, excuses are seductive because they take away accountability. They let you off the hook. They allow you to say, it wasn't me, it was the situation, it was bad luck, it was the timing. But when you live like that, right, you hand over your power. You give control of your life to external factors and strip yourself of responsibility. And without responsibility, there's no growth, no change, no success. The strongest people, you know, hey, the ones who achieve greatness are the ones who refuse excuses. They look at the same obstacles everyone else faces and say, okay, this is hard, but it's not impossible. I'm not going to let this stop me. That mindset separates winners from quitters. Excuses also become habits. The more you use them, the more automatic they become. Before you know it, right here, every challenge you face comes with a ready-made excuse. You train your brain to look for reasons not to act instead of reasons to act. And once that habit takes root, it spreads into every area of your life. Right here, you'll make excuses for your health, for your work, for your relationships, for your goals. Slowly, you'll become someone who justifies failure instead of fighting against it. And here's the most painful part over time. Right here, you'll start believing your own excuses. They'll feel like reality, not excuses. You'll convince yourself that you really couldn't do it, that you really didn't have a chance, right here. And that belief will rob you of your potential. Failure never robs your potential. Failure sharpens it. Failure is proof that you're in the arena, that you're trying, that you're learning, right here. Some of the most successful people in history failed more times than they succeeded, but that they didn't let those failures become excuses to quit. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, right here. Michael Jordan missed more shots than he made. Ronnie Coleman trained through injuries and setbacks, but none of them let excuses dictate their destiny. Imagine if they had said, it's too hard, I don't have the resources. Right here, I don't feel ready. The world would never have known their names. Excuses rob not only you, but everyone else who could have been inspired by your example. Excuses are also rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of pain, fear of change. Instead of admitting we're afraid, we disguise it with an excuse. Here, I don't have the time is easier to say than I'm afraid I'll waste my time and still fail. I don't have the money is easier to say than I'm afraid to invest and lose. I'll start tomorrow is easier to say than I'm afraid to start today and find out I'm not good enough. But fear is natural. Right here, everybody feels fear. The difference between those who win and those who don't is that winners act in spite of fear, while losers wrap their fear in excuses and never take action. When you remove excuses from your life, right here, you're left with raw accountability. It's uncomfortable, but it's powerful. Because now you can't hide. You can't shift the blame. You can only look at yourself and say, if it's going to happen, here it's on me. That realization is where true strength begins. Excuses will tell you that circumstances have to change before you can succeed. Accountability will tell you that you have to change before circumstances do. Right here, that's the difference between waiting and creating. Excuses wait, discipline creates. Excuses hope, action builds. Excuses stall, courage moves. Excuses are also contagious. Right here, when you surround yourself with people who constantly make excuses, you'll find yourself absorbing that mentality. Suddenly, everything feels like it's out of your hands. Right here, you'll hear yourself repeating the same tired lines they use to justify mediocrity. But when you surround yourself with people who don't tolerate excuses, you're forced to rise to their level. Right here, you start realizing that all the reasons you've been holding on to are just illusions, and if others can overcome them, so can you. That's why environment matters. Being around discipline. Driven people kills excuses before they even form. Excuses don't just kill dreams, they kill confidence. Every time you make an excuse instead of taking action, you reinforce the belief that you can't do it. And the more you reinforce that belief, the weaker your self-image becomes. On the flip side, every time you act instead of making an excuse, you build confidence. You teach yourself that you can handle discomfort. Right here, that you can push through fear, that you can survive failure. That confidence compounds, and soon you become unstoppable. Not because the obstacles disappeared, but because you stop letting excuses hold you hostage. Right here, there's also a hidden cost to excuses regret. Excuses feel safe in the moment, but years later, when you look back, you won't remember the comfort they gave you. You'll remember the dreams you let die because of them. Right here, you'll remember the opportunities you didn't take, the goals you didn't chase, the potential you never fulfilled. Regret is heavier than failure, and excuses are the fuel that feed it. Failure at least gives you stories. Right here, lessons, the scars you can be proud of. Excuses give you nothing but silence and the haunting question of what could have been. If you want to live a life with no regrets, you have to kill excuses before they kill your dreams. Right here, that means catching yourself in the moment you're about to justify why you can and asking, what if I did it anyway? That one shift will change your life. Right here, you'll stop seeing obstacles as stop signs and start seeing them as challenges. You'll stop waiting for the perfect conditions and start acting with what you have. Right here, you'll stop being a victim of circumstances and start being a creator of outcome. That's the mindset that separates those who achieve their dreams from those who bury them. Excuses will always be there, in your ear, tempting you with the easy road. But the easy road leads to nowhere. The hard road, the one without excuses, is where growth, success, and fulfillment lie. Here, you can either listen to excuses and settle for mediocrity or silence them and chase greatness. The choice will always be yours, right here. And the decision you make will determine whether your dreams live or die. Consistency beats talent every single time, because talent may open the door, but consistency is what keeps it open. Right here, the world is full of people with natural gifts, people who are strong, fast, smart, creative, but most of them never reach their potential because they rely only on what they were given. They show up when they feel like it. Right here, they give effort when it's convenient. They expect their talent to carry them through every challenge, but talent alone is fragile. It fades without practice, it weakens without use, it disappears when life gets hard. Here, consistency, on the other hand, doesn't depend on natural ability. Consistency is built on discipline, repetition, and relentless effort. It doesn't matter how talented you are if you can't keep showing up. Hey, the people who win are not always the most gifted, but they are the most consistent. Think about the gym. You might see someone come in with incredible genetics, strong body, natural ability to lift heavy, but if they only show up once in a while, they'll never reach their peak. Meanwhile, someone else with average genetics, no special advantages, who shows up every single day, who puts in the work week after week, month after month, year after year, that person will surpass the naturally talented one. Why? Because consistency compounds. Every rep adds up. Every session builds on the last. Here, every small effort grows into something massive over time. Consistency is like compound interest. It multiplies the results of your effort until the gap between the consistent and the inconsistent is unbridgeable. Right here, talent might give you a head start, but consistency will always catch up and surpass it. History is full of examples. Athletes who weren't the most gifted but outworked everyone else. Right here, entrepreneurs who weren't the smartest but refused to quit. Artists who weren't the most creative but created every day until their skills became undeniable. Right here, what there wasn't a lucky break or a natural advantage. They had consistency. They did what others weren't willing to do. Keep going even when it was boring, even when it was hard, even when nobody was watching. Right here, consistency builds habits and habits build success. Talent can't replace habits. You can be talented at playing the piano, but if you don't practice daily, your fingers will stiffen and your progress will stall. Right here, you can be talented in sports, but if you don't train consistently, you'll get out of shape and lose your edge. You can be talented at speaking or writing, but if you don't use those skills regularly, they'll fade. Right here, consistency is the foundation that allows talent to grow instead of wither. Without consistency, talent is wasted potential. With consistency, even a small talent can grow into greatness. Here, consistency also builds trust with yourself and with others. When you're consistent, you prove to yourself that you can rely on your own word. You said you'd show up, and you did. That builds self-confidence right here, because you stop seeing yourself as someone who breaks promises and start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. And when others see your consistency, they begin to trust you too. They know you'll be there right here, but they know you deliver, they know you're reliable. Talent might impress people, but consistency earns respect for life. Another reason consistency beats talent is because consistency builds resilience. Right here, life will test you, will throw obstacles, pain, and setbacks at you. Talent won't protect you from that. Talent doesn't guarantee you'll keep going when things get tough. But consistency trains you to endure. By showing up day after day, even in discomfort, you build a toughness that talent alone can never give. Consistency teaches you to keep moving forward when motivation fades. When circumstances change, when the journey feels endless, that resilience is what makes champions. Talent may get knocked down and stay there. Consistency gets knocked down, stands up, and keeps walking. Consistency also sharpens skill. You might start average, you might start clumsy, you might start behind others, but if you keep at it, you'll improve. Repetition breeds mastery. Every time you repeat the action, you refine it. Every time you practice, hey, here, you smooth the rough edges. Every time you show up, you stack another brick on the wall of mastery. Someone with talent but no consistency will stay at the same level forever. Here, someone with less talent but relentless consistency will surpass them because skill is developed, not gifted. Consistency is the great equalizer. It allows anyone willing to put in the work to rise. Right here, the problem is most people quit too early. They show up for a week, a month, maybe a year, and when they don't see results fast enough, they stop. They don't realize that consistency isn't about instant results. Hey, it's about long-term transformation. You don't see the progress day to day, but it's happening. Just like a seed doesn't sprout the day you plant it, your efforts don't always show results immediately. Right here? But if you keep watering, keep nurturing, keep showing up, eventually the results break through. Consistency is patience in action. It's trusting the process even when you can't see the outcome yet. Consistency also beats talent because consistency creates momentum. Once you build the habit of showing up, it becomes easier to keep going. Action creates energy, energy creates results, and results fuel more action. Before you know it, you're unstoppable, not because you're the most talented, but because you never stop moving. Talent can't create momentum by itself. Right here, talent without consistency is like a car with a powerful engine, but no fuel. It looks impressive, but it's not going anywhere. Consistency is the fuel that keeps the engine running. There will always be people more talented than you, that's reality. But talent doesn't guarantee success. What guarantees success is consistency, the ability to outlast, outwork, here, and outpersist those who rely only on natural ability. You may not be the fastest, the strongest, or the smartest, but if you're the one who keeps showing up, who keeps pushing, who keeps grinding, eventually you'll rise above the rest, because talent fades when tested, but consistency grows stronger under pressure. Consistency also eliminates the need for constant motivation. When you rely on motivation, here, you'll only act when you feel like it, but consistency doesn't care how you feel. It's automatic, it's habit, it's who you are. And when action becomes who you are, results become inevitable. That's why consistency outperforms talent. It creates certainty. With talent, maybe you'll succeed if everything goes right. With consistency, success is only a matter of time. Greatness is not built in bursts of effort. Right here, it's built in steady, repeated actions over years. The greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the most legendary leaders weren't the most talented in the beginning here, but they were relentless in their consistency. They kept showing up when others stopped. They kept pushing when others gave up. They kept going when others doubted them. And that's why they stand at the top. Here, consistency doesn't just beat talent. It buries it, because talent without consistency eventually becomes irrelevant. Here, while consistency without talent eventually becomes extraordinary, growth only happens outside your comfort zone, because the comfort zone is a place of safety, of routine, of predictability, right here. And while it feels good to stay there, nothing changes when you refuse to step beyond it. The comfort zone whispers to you that you're fine where you are, that you don't need to take risks, right here, that you don't need to challenge yourself, but that whisper is a trap. It lulls you into stagnation. It keeps you repeating the same days, the same habits, the same results, while convincing you that you're living. Right here, true growth, the kind that transforms your life, is always uncomfortable. It comes with fear, with doubt, with struggle, because that's the signal that you're pushing past your limits. If you feel safe, right here, if you feel unchallenged, then you're not growing, you're just existing. Think about your body. Muscles grow by being torn down and rebuilt. If you lift only weights that are easy, your body has no reason to change, or no reason to adapt. But the moment you add resistance, the moment you push into pain and strain, your muscles break just enough to come back stronger. That same principle applies to every area of life. Right here, your mind grows when you take on challenges that stretch it. Your spirit grows when you face struggles that test it. Your skills grow when you put yourself in situations that demand more than you currently have to give. Right here, growth is the reward for stepping into the unknown and facing what scares you. Most people never reach their full potential because they're addicted to comfort. They want guarantees. They want certainty. Here, they want to avoid looking foolish, avoid failing, avoid the sting of rejection. But the very things they're running from are the experiences that would teach them the most. Here, the rejection that feels painful today might be the lesson that sharpens your persistence tomorrow. The failure that embarrasses you now might be the experience that teaches you how to win later. Right here, the challenge that overwhelms you in the moment might be the crucible that forges your strength. Comfort gives you nothing but the illusion of safety, while discomfort gives you the tools to build a stronger future. Right here, stepping outside your comfort zone doesn't always mean taking giant leaps. It often means small, consistent steps into the unknown. It means saying yes when your instinct is to say no. Right here, it means showing up when you feel nervous, speaking when your voice shakes, trying when you don't feel ready. Every small act of courage expands your comfort zone just a little further. Right here, and over time, what once terrified you becomes normal. The person you are today is living in the comfort zone of your past challenges. Right here, everything you once thought was impossible is now part of your routine because you dared to stretch yourself. If you want to continue growing, you must continue stepping into new discomforts. The comfort zone is not a bad place here, but it's a dangerous place if you stay there too long. It's like a warm bed in the morning. It feels good, but if you don't get up, you waste the day. Comfort zones are meant to be resting places, not permanent homes. You train, you recover, you adapt, and then you step out again. Growth is cyclical, and every cycle requires a new push beyond what you already know. If you refuse, life becomes stale, opportunities pass you by right here, and you begin to shrink instead of expand, because the truth is there's no such thing as standing still. You're either growing or you're declining, and the comfort zone will always pull you toward decline. Right here, growth outside the comfort zone also teaches resilience. When you take on challenges that stretch you, you'll fail, you'll stumble, you'll fall. That's inevitable. But each failure toughens you. Right here, each stumble teaches you balance, each fall forces you to rise stronger. Staying comfortable avoids the fall, but it also avoids the lesson. The people who become unshakable in life are not those who stayed safe. Right here, but those who faced discomfort, survived it, and learned from it. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the less it scares you, and the more capable you become of handling whatever life throws at you. Fear lives in the comfort zone disguised as protection. It tells you not to take risks, not to put yourself out there, not to try something new, because you might get hurt. But fear is lying to you. Right here, the real danger is not in trying and failing. The real danger is in never trying at all. Regret is far heavier than failure. regret comes from knowing you had the potential to grow, but you chose safety instead. Right here, every person at the end of their life doesn't regret the failures. They regret the chances they didn't take, the risks they didn't embrace, the growth they never allowed themselves to experience. Stepping outside your comfort zone eliminates regret, because even if you fail forward. You fail with experience. You fail having grown stronger. Growth outside the comfort zone also builds identity. Every time you do something uncomfortable, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. You redefine who you are in your own mind. Here, you stop seeing yourself as someone who plays it safe and start seeing yourself as someone who's bold, someone who takes action, someone who isn't afraid to face challenges. That new identity fuels your confidence. Right here, and confidence fuels even greater growth. Over time, the person who once hesitated at the edge of their comfort zone becomes the person who thrives in the unknown, who seeks out challenges, who knows that discomfort is the birthplace of transformation. The comfort zone is also the enemy of excellence. Nobody achieves greatness by staying comfortable. Every champion had to push through discomfort. Right here, every innovator had to take risks. Every leader had to face criticism and uncertainty. Excellence demands discomfort because excellence is rare. And what is rare is only achieved by those willing to do what most won't. Right here, most people settle because settling is comfortable. It's easier to do just enough to get by, to stay in familiar surroundings, to avoid rocking the boat. But those who crave growth know that settling is suffocating. They are willing to endure the pain of discomfort for the reward of greatness. Your comfort zone will always tempt you with ease, but ease is temporary. Growth lasts forever. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you gain something permanent: skill, wisdom, resilience, confidence. And once you gain it, nobody can take it away. That's the trade-off: temporary discomfort for permanent growth. Right here, the question is whether you're willing to pay the price. Most aren't, but those who are changing their lives in ways that others can't even imagine. The comfort zone will disguise itself as happiness. It will make you feel good in the moment, but deep down you'll know you're capable of more. That quiet dissatisfaction is the signal that you're stuck. The excitement of life comes from stretching yourself. Right here, from facing challenges, from chasing growth. That's where fulfillment lives. You may feel fear before stepping into discomfort, but on the other side of that fear is pride, accomplishment, and expansion. Here, that feeling cannot be found in the comfort zone. It exists only in the arena of challenge. Growth only happens outside your comfort zone, because outside is where the unknown lives. The unknown is where new opportunities, here, new skills, new strength, and new possibilities are waiting. It's where you discover what you're really made of. It's where you uncover potential you never knew you had. Inside your comfort zone, everything is predictable. Right here, and predictable never creates extraordinary. Extraordinary is created when you step into the uncomfortable, the uncertain, the difficult, and you keep moving forward despite it. That is the path of growth, and it is the only path worth walking.